Hey, Daddy. Nothing. What are you doing? Oh, I'm on the podcast. Oh, okay. Nothing. I was passing the house and I saw you guys were you had some people over or something. I was seeing who you doing. Wanted us to come over. I was like, should I come? Should I come party or am I missing out on something? I'm nosy, just like you. Who else would I have got it from? So, uh so. Well, well, I was driving by. We're at the park, so I'll be there in probably around 10 minutes, 15. Yeah, or whatever. How long do you have left on your podcast? Okay, cool. All right. Well, all right. Goodbye.
I'm looking for it on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh,
Ooh, snap.
I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be. Hi.
Is it on your Sean Swallow, probably?
I would think so.
Why won't Facebook show me your stuff?
You know,
So weird.
under the same thing.
It's your birthday.
Good deal. How are we doing? It is my birthday. Can you guys hear? You hear my voice? We're good. Because I don't hear your voice.
I think I hear it faintly.
Well, what the heck?
I hear you.
You hear me?
Mhm.
All right, everybody hear stuff? I don't hear nothing. I hear stuff now.
Turn the mics on.
The mic's are on.
In the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I'm just saying.
Okay. Mic checks. We're doing this live.
Doing it live.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Okay, I'm looking to see where it is live, if it is live, the video.
Ba-da-ba-da-bum-ba-bum. All right. Can you hear us out there in live world? We're live now, Gaga says.
We're live.
We're going to do a little quick. Want to talk into your mic there?
What do you want me to say?
Say hello.
Yeah, pull
Hello?
it towards you. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
The closer you talk, the better it will sound.
Okay.
And you guys, how are you doing over there?
Good.
We probably need to get closer.
No, you're
No,
fine.
you're pretty good. You got a pretty good mic. So
How about
guys
you,
are
Eric?
fine.
Wonderful.
All right. Are you guys ready to drink some whiskey?
Yes.
As I'll ever be.
All right,
Yeah.
people.
Jen's not really a whiskey drinker, so it's going to be great for her.
Nice.
But she
Is
was
this-
reading up on it earlier today.
I'm a reader.
Are our videos live?
I'm looking for it.
What were you researching? I don't know. I was just Googling whiskey.
We should be live on the Facebook,
Okay.
somewhere on Facebook.
The face.
It's sending it. Also live, we should be on our YouTube channel.
Do you want to pour the first one?
All right, let's talk to Cody. Cody, no.
We got to, yeah, you're jumping ahead. You got to start it.
You're listening to the
There you go.
Swallow podcast with Sean and Shayna Swallow.
I don't know.
Drinking whiskey.
I don't know where it is.
Put on your house robe
That's right, it's the swallows.
and your fluffy shoes.
Da 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 da. The swallows are here. Make yourself comfortable. Come on, sing along. The swallows are here. Ow! Whoop whoop. Good time.
Normally Eric's in this singing, but he hasn't drank
I
a
don't
whole
know
lot
that
yet
song.
today.
No,
Yeah.
we haven't started. That's good. See, you don't want to drink too much before we do a live whiskey tasting.
Before you drink too much.
I don't know.
Yeah,
babe.
and you can pull this. Just moves all over. You know what I mean? It'll come every which way but loose. You don't know, huh?
I can't find it.
Well, I can't find it either.
Would it go to your Sean Swallow page?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I would think so. I would think so. So we're just trying to figure out how to get the video going really quick,
Really quick.
just because
Well,
we want everyone to be able to participate and watch our videos while we're tasting.
yes.
Okay, so
While we're tasting. But let's introduce Cody.
Talk to
Let's
Cody. We'll
welcome
introduce
Cody
Cody.
back.
welcome, Cody.
I know. It's like, welcome back. I'm glad you came back.
And
Thanks
it's
for
been
coming
almost a
back.
year.
I
I look-
know.
I looked it up. It was September 11th.
Yeah.
Was when you were here last.
Right.
It's super crazy.
Yeah. It was almost a year ago. That's amazing how this year went really fast, right? Like since
Or
then
really
till
slow.
now, it was so crazy, all the
Mhm.
craziness that's gone on.
So
Let me ask you a
much.
question. How has the COVID thing affected your business?
I mean, died
Yeah.
completely. Obviously, nobody was having people over.
Yeah.
But, outside of this, I've figured out a way to, be as safe as possible in people's homes. If they want to do it outside, I can do it outside.
Yeah.
Pascal's more than willing to wear a mask while she pours.
Yeah.
I can stand 6 feet away so that you can understand me.
Right.
So I'm not muffled with a mask, but you feel safe in your home.
Brilliant.
And now people are getting to the place where they have, their COVID pods and the people that they feel safe with and that they feel have been safe in public. And,
Right.
So it's
So
picked
weird.
back up.
Yeah,
but,
good.
But yeah, I mean, I still want to be able to do it, and I want people to feel safe having me in their home, and I want to respect, that safety, and I want to keep my house safe. So
Yeah.
we've adjusted a little bit to how we're doing everything. But yeah, I mean, it's picking back up.
I love it.
Good.
COVID
That's
pod.
COVID
Yeah.
pod.
It's a new term.
Yeah,
That's what we are.
Yeah. That's what
much.
we are
Yeah.
pretty much.
we have it too. You know, people that come through our outside gate and people that come through our front door.
Right.
Two different groups of people.
Right. Absolutely.
We don't have any outside
Oh,
gate people.
I wish I had outside gate people.
You can come over, but go through the back.
Go
gate.
through the back gate. You know what? And leave your shoes outside.
That too.
That's what you want to do. But I don't know, the COVID pod thing. That's a real life
It is.
happening.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to know because that's great. I mean, just like this is perfect.
And this is a great, you know, if people miss going and sitting at bars and
Yeah.
talking to bartenders and trying new things, this is a great way to be able to do that in the safety of your own home with two people that are
Right.
able to respect all of your wishes as far as safety goes, to only do it with people that you want in your home without having, you know, maybe you're not comfortable going to a restaurant yet.
Yeah.
Cool. Set one of these up outside on your deck while it's still nice out.
Yeah.
You know, set something up inside. We'll stay 6 feet away from you and I'll teach you all about whiskey.
Yep. There you go. I just saw
Can I-
that too.
Yeah.
Is there a front and a back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have not ever known that in a million years.
That's what I thought too. And then I saw it. That was funny. Used to saw it in my head.
Yeah. Well, that's good because we need to still have interaction with people.
Yeah.
We're isolating ourselves.
Yeah.
Through this the whole thing and not doing things that we enjoy, which is making us all unhappy.
True.
And let's not do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, so,
So-
get your pod and call me.
That's right. Get your COVID pod together. Have a party. Call Cody.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. I love it. So tell us what we're in for today.
Well, you guys are awesome and let me put together the weirdest tasting I have ever developed.
know?
So my whole shtick that I do is designer tasting. So I pretty much, you know, have a conversation with whoever wants to throw the tasting or if they're throwing it for somebody. And I have a conversation, you know, what are you looking to learn? What are you looking to taste? You know, oh, I know everything there is to know about Kentucky. All right, well, let's not go to Kentucky. Why
Right.
don't we learn something new?
Yeah.
You know, so I've done complete craft tastings. I've done just Ireland. I've done, just a plethora of stuff. And, you know, he messaged me and was like, hey, I want to do a tasting. And I had been kind of thinking about something like this for a while. Like, wouldn't it be weird if I just found the most obscure whiskeys I could and put them in a tasting and just see how it would flow?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, do you have any thoughts? And he was like, no, whatever you want to do. I was like, well, I have a weird idea. I want to do a whiskeys of the world, kind of jumping outside the world of whiskey. So you've got, you know, Ireland, Scotland, Japan, United States, Canada are kind of the whiskey places,
Right.
you know, that are the prominent whiskey producers in the world. You know, but you've got people popping up, India, Taiwan, France, you know, Germany. I saw a German one the other day. I'm dying to try. But this is cool for a tasting because like we were talking about a minute ago, you're not really going to go to a whiskey bar unless you're me, and try something that's a $40, $30 pour
Right.
that you've
Never had.
You're not likely going to say, do you have any
Totally.
Indian whiskey?
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to do that. You're going to go in there and spend $30 on something you know you love.
Yeah.
So
Right.
doing this tasting is really, really cool. We can see who learned from whom and who stole things from whom. And you know, maybe you discovered that you freaking love French whiskey. I mean,
Right.
it
I'll
would
be
blow my
honest,
mind.
I didn't even know there was a French whiskey.
I don't know that there should be a French whiskey.
There's a French lady in the room.
I'm sorry. Sorry to the French lady in the room. We'll get to the French story when we get to see because it's a funny story how I found that one.
I love her. She's over there. She's just like, whatever.
So now
Okay,
we
good.
are on Facebook. You can go to my Facebook page and then you can follow us live on YouTube.
Okay, good.
Okay, just want to let that be known.
Good, good, good.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, it'll probably be better on YouTube anyways.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, let's get started.
Yeah, I'd
All right.
say so.
So the first one we're going to do is Japan, which is considered one of the whiskey territories. So this is not super outside the norm, although for lots of beginning whiskey drinkers, this isn't something that they would really go out of their way to try, although it is gaining excessive popularity. Did you find anything in your research about Japanese whiskey today? I didn't think so.
No, I was like 15 minutes.
You yeah, you have to dig for it a little
I
bit.
didn't get that far.
It wasn't extensive.
No, it
research.
was not.
So the Japanese learned to distill from Scotland,
Yeah.
from the Scots. So they use barley predominantly, but they really still wanted to set themselves apart. So what they did when they started their first distillery right outside Kyoto, they wanted a different climate and a different topography and all that kind of stuff so that they still, even though they were distilling just like Scotland, just like the Scots taught them how to, they still wanted to be a little bit different. They don't bring peat in super often, but they do every now and then, peat being the thing that gives Scotch that distinct smoky flavor.
Right.
That I don't have in this because, to be perfectly honest, if you're a Scotch drinker, you're not going to enjoy my tastings because I typically leave Scotch out.
Right.
Scotch people have a following all their own, a love all their own, and they don't typically like to step outside Scotch. So, so this one is called Toki.
Toki.
Yeah, there's a good chance we're saying that completely wrong. I
Right.
don't know. It means time in Japanese.
I'm gonna call it Takai.
T-O-K-I.
I'm gonna call it Takai.
Takai.
Oh, maybe.
George Takai.
Well, you can call it time. It means time in Japanese.
No.
So they are. This one's really cool. So if you can see, I don't know if you remember some of the other ones. This one is I mean, you can
It's
see
so,
through it.
yeah.
so light.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I can't believe how light it is.
Almost looks like green tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So
Yeah.
this one's cool because there's 4 main distilleries distilling in Japan. And what this place does is they pull a barrel from each of those distilleries and blend it to make this. Japanese distillers and master blenders are some of the best in the world. The culture in itself, is a culture of perfection. You know, I think everybody, can kind of agree upon that. So when they set out to be distillers, they perfected it.
That makes sense.
So the reason we're starting with this one though is because it's one of the lower proofs. It's probably right around 80. And it's very light. This isn't 100 proof that's going to burn your palate right off the bat.
Oh, good.
So just to go back over what we do at the beginning of a tasting. So we use these Glencairn glasses for a super specific reason. This is the official whiskey tasting glass of the universe.
Of the universe?
Of the universe. I mean, people, the little aliens on Mars.
Aliens on Mars.
Are drinking whiskey out of Glencairns, I guarantee it. So
if they know what's good for them.
It's got this bulbous bottom that allows the whiskey to fall down there and aerate a little bit. Whiskey is not like wine where you have to aerate it or, should look like a snob and aerate it. It's a really tight molecule drink. You're not going to get much air in there, but this allows it to open up a little bit, warm up a little bit. And then because whiskey is also so much higher proof of alcohol than wine, this allows you to not have to stick your nose in the glass to get the smell.
Yeah.
If you stick your nose in there, you're going to get a shot of ethanol. All you're going to smell is alcohol. So the cool thing about this is that you can just kind of wave it over the bottom of your nose.
Yeah.
And because it's that tulip shape, it just kind of pushes that
That
essence
smell way
out.
better when you do it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it smells
Then
nice.
it just
I tasted with a lady in Kentucky, and she would do each nostril, and she'd close her eyes each time and smell it. And I just loved watching her taste whiskey. She was so refined and such a debutante Kentucky lady.
Wow.
I love her. So the other thing that we do, so this is the glass. You can look at the color. So that's going to tell you a handful of things, right? That's going to tell you, is it an older whiskey? Is it a younger whiskey? We're going to look at this and we're going to assume it's probably pretty young because it is so light. We might be wrong, but we're probably not.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do is you're going to take it and turn it like this, and you're going to see 2 things happen. You're going to see a curtain form,
Yeah.
and then you're going to put it back
That's pretty
perpendicular, and you're going to see tears happen. So
Yeah.
curtains and tears. So the curtain, in my expert opinion, is the sugar content. So the thicker the wall of the curtain, the longer it stays, the higher sugar content, which then can tell you, was this in a barrel that was significantly charred on the inside? Was this in a barrel that just had a light toast? So once you do the tier in the curtain, you can find out some other stuff. Those tiers are going to be your oil content. So is it a thick, slow rolling tier, or is it a really thin, fast tier that's gone?
Right.
So that thicker one is going to be also in part of that sugar. So it's going to go a lot slower because it's a lot less oil, a lot more sugar.
Right.
So those 2 things are going to tell you a lot of stuff also. It's going to tell you, was it in a used barrel? Was it in a brand new barrel? Was the barrel really super burned? Was it lightly toasted? So this one, if we do it, we can see that curtain's pretty thin.
Yeah.
And then the tiers are plentiful.
Yeah.
But they're also fast.
Yeah.
So that would tell me a couple different things. That would tell me that it was probably in used barrels, which a lot of Ireland, Scotland, and Japan do. They use our old barrels.
Yeah.
Old barrels like wine barrels
No,
or
old,
whiskey?
like our whiskey barrels.
Okay.
So to be a bourbon, it has to go into a virgin white oak barrel.
Oh, okay.
So the United States is bourbon. That is our spirit. That's
Right.
our national spirit. But once it comes out of that barrel, we can't make bourbon with it again.
Yeah.
So for since the dawn of bourbon, we have pretty much been sending our barrels to Scotland and Ireland specifically, and they use them to age theirs.
Wow.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, and there's don't everybody freak out. There's a great program in Kentucky that replants for every American white oak that's taken down. They try to do really great things out there. So this would tell me that they're probably using used barrels.
Okay.
So we've looked at it. We've done the tiers and curtains. We've smelled it a little bit. The only thing left to do is tasting. Now, when I taste my first sip at a tasting, I take a sip, let it hit your mouth a little bit, and just send it down. Don't really chew on it or anything. What we're going to do is wake up your tongue at that first taste. Like, hey, we're about to taste some things that are high proof. Just wake your tongue up a little. Then go back and take a taste and do whatever you want to do with it. You want to keep it in your mouth for a minute, that's fine. Whatever you want to do to taste it. The only other thing I would suggest that I tell people is after you take that taste for taste sake, open your mouth a little bit, breathe through your nose, and you're going to get a whole nother set of olfactory senses. Okay. So when I smell this one, like I get something very, very specific when I smell this one. Does anybody else get anything super specific when you smell this besides whiskey?
I feel like maybe flowery.
You're close, yeah.
Maybe. Because when I first smelled it that way, I thought, oh, it's kind of hibiscusy.
Smells like a green Jolly Rancher to me.
Oh, I smell that.
Which is weird, right? Green. I mean, it smells like green apple, but to me, it specifically smells like a green Jolly Rancher.
I totally smell that. Yeah, I can smell it.
Don't we? I'm sorry.
That's funny.
That's great.
All right, I'm trying it now.
Okay, send it down.
Ooh.
Doesn't taste like green apple.
No, it's kind of peppery.
Mm-hmm. It's super peppery.
Yeah.
Did you say it's a Scotch?
No, I said it almost tastes like Scotch.
It does. So the reason that it's because of the barley. So a lot of people that think that they don't like Scotch is because of that peat that we talked about in Scotch. It's not a flavor for everybody. But really, no, I don't like peat. But the other thing I learned about myself is I just don't like barley as a main grain. It's just not my jam. I just don't love barley.
Yeah.
Now, when we get to the Slane, which is the Irish whiskey, they use barley, and I love Irish whiskey, but they do something to make me not taste barley.
Right.
So, they're doing something cool.
Trick of the Irish.
It's the trick of the Irish.
They got it. Yeah, so
Okay.
this was actually my first taste with you guys of this one. I've tasted other Japanese whiskeys, but never this one.
You've never had this one before?
Nope, we just opened this bottle. It's a virgin bottle.
Oh, I like that.
It's it falls a little flat for me. I love the nose. I think it smells amazing, but I don't like
It's
it.
strong.
It is strong.
Are you okay?
I was breathing it in. I couldn't hold it.
It's 86.
She said not to do that.
I joked.
Swallow it and then breathe through your nose.
I did that. I tried to breathe it in, kind of like, and then I breathed it in my lungs. And I'm already choking on all the smoke.
It's not the Rona.
No,
it's
not.
It's called the
Yeah,
fire.
you just killed it with alcohol.
Fire alarm.
All right, so we've got the Taki. It's 86 proof, and it's a barley base.
It is a barley base, yeah.
So,
almost all Japanese, I would say, I don't want to misspeak. I might be wrong, but they predominantly use barley.
Okay.
I saw a documentary, of course, on PBS about this whole new whiskey thing that's happening over there in
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not new. That's what's funny is it just blew up.
Well, I think it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just getting bigger. And it was pretty impressive.
You liked it?
All the bars that they would take you to, like the whiskey bars
Yeah.
over there, and they're so freaking fancy, like so
Yeah.
just prestige,
I mean,
it's like
the culture is perfect for a spirit like this,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
like we all know and love sake, and I'm sure we've all been sake drunk, and it's super fun. But I mean, yeah, the Japanese should be making whiskey because they do a killer job.
They do a killer job.
And this one,
So it's a whitey.
if you guys are, so this is a $50 bottle,
Okay.
and that's on the lower end
Okay.
of Japanese whiskey.
Okay.
I think that's
That's a good
important to know
taste.
what you're paying for.
Yeah.
They're one of the Japanese whiskeys won whiskey of the world a few years back, and that's when it really started exploding.
That's probably when it caught all the
Yeah.
attention.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it leaves.
I like this one.
Do you?
I like it too.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I knew she was going to ask me that.
Well, because I'm always curious, something that I don't particularly love, that I don't know that I'll go back and drink again. It's important for me to know why somebody likes what they like. Because it's not that smooth, right?
No.
No, but
No?
like,
It-
for me, it's the initial taste. It's pretty good. And then when that bite hits, it's like, not so good.
Yeah,
It's
that
not smooth,
no,
It's
and
not a
the
bite that sticks around and burns.
but
though.
the initial flavor is pretty good.
I agree. The front of the palate is good. You know what I get on the back of the palate is dust.
Oh,
It dies in the back of the palate for me, and it's
Yeah.
kind of dusty.
Yeah.
maybe
does.
that's what I got too. Because I kind
wanna-
of am
It
like
sticks
looking.
around.
Do you want to taste this, babe?
It
For
sticks,
the
it
back
sticks
of-
around.
I've made it sound so delightful that we should.
I know we should have
taste
to
it.
come
Yes,
try.
now come try.
Well, I just want to let everybody know who's not going to be watching or seeing this on video. What we've been given is a little sheet of paper that corresponds, and we can take notes on each of our whiskey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to win.
You're gonna win the note taking.
I'm going to win. I just want you guys to know.
Okay. I didn't know it was a competition.
Well, of course it's
Yeah, you can pour
competition.
the second one.
What is the age of this whiskey?
It doesn't have an age statement, and I couldn't find anything. I believe it's probably in the 8 to 10 year range is the barrels that they're using. So
Okay.
if they were to put an age statement on it, they would have to state it as the youngest barrel they're using.
Right.
They don't have the same rules as bourbon, which we'll talk about when we get to the bourbon, but we can assume that they're not putting anything super young out. Let me rephrase. It's probably 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
They're probably using barrels that are pretty young in that, and you can tell just by the color that it's going to be
And so
pretty
with
young.
the reused barrels, does that mean it gets weaker the next
Mhm.
process?
Yep, exactly.
The smoky, kind of smoky flavor that you get in there, is that the barley that makes it that way?
Probably. I mean, they're not. It's
Because
it's
is
a
that
little
what's
bit
in
of-
Scotch that makes it so?
what's in Scotch that you're probably talking about is peat, which is
Okay.
a
Yeah.
type
Okay.
of moss
Yes,
that kind
yes.
of grows under the ground.
Right.
And just like we use different flavors of wood to smoke our barbecue,
Yeah.
they do the same thing with peat under their barley. So they'll have their barley out, and then they'll smoke the peat underneath.
I don't know. A burp. A burp.
But no, so the smoky flavor can also come from the burn inside the barrel.
Okay.
So pretty much all the barrels,
char?
char.
Yeah,
But and
okay.
that's why it's a little subtle in this one too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily, just with my palate, I don't know. Wow, babe, nice pour.
Well, it's
It's
birthday.
his birthday.
It burped. Yeah, it burped.
I don't remember what I was saying now. I was just like,
I
wow,
know.
she's a heavy-handed bartender there.
I thought the first flavor in that was more sweet than
The initial taste.
Yeah, the smoke came for me at the end, like
People's-
afterwards.
People's palates are
transition.
fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
fascinated by this. Yeah,
Well, what interests
It's
me
really
is Jen is not a whiskey drinker, so she's not really likes whiskey.
Yeah.
So to have even
She's
to
a
hear-
virgin.
Yeah, to hear her say I like this one, I kind of caught me off guard. The
Yeah.
first one out the gate.
well, it's I don't dislike alcohol.
No,
She's very exotic.
yeah,
That's right.
Whiskey's just not my preference.
Well, it might
I have
become.
a secret talent to get I can find a whiskey that everybody loves.
I agree because last time you
Let's do
brought
that.
totally different whiskeys and
Yeah.
they were all good.
Yeah, that was a fun tasting too.
Yeah. What you got? Oh, he's
So,
cheating.
I'm taking notes.
You are, and you're cheating.
I'm
Uh-huh.
winning.
He's jumping ahead.
So this is a $25 bottle of Irish whiskey.
Oh,
So we went down the price ladder.
that
and
seems pretty reasonable for Irish whiskey.
very reasonable.
Wow.
And it's also one of my favorites.
Oh.
My other favorite is like a $200 bottle. So you can,
Well, of course.
I go back and forth. So this is
25.
called Slane.
Slane.
And it's actually owned by Brown Forman, which is an American company, but they produce it in Ireland. So there's an American company making Irish whiskey in Ireland.
How funny.
It's all very conglomerate.
Yeah.
So
That'd be a great job, though.
No
Just
shipping.
go over there.
where are you going? To the castle.
Yep.
Make some whiskey.
Get
It's,
me.
it's literally made at a place called Slane Castle that's been there
Really?
since, I don't think I wrote it down. Yeah, forever and ever. I mean, it's
That's
been there, and they
awesome.
repurposed it to make this whiskey.
To make the whiskey.
an American
And
company
it's a
bought it.
tourist spot now.
It
Sweet.
hasn't been there very long. So Slane is really cool. This is one of my favorite Irish whiskeys. I would assume because they do a thing called triple casking. So they finish it in 3 different types of wood. So they're using a virgin wood.
Okay.
They're using used either Tennessee whiskey or bourbon whiskey barrels, and then an Oloroso sherry cask.
Oh.
So you can see if we do with our big butt glasses here, it's significantly darker than the last one.
Yeah, like a
wow.
lot.
Yeah, that's going to be coming. I mean, it's going to be coming from all 3, but you're also going to get 3 very distinct flavors out of those barrels. So that first barrel is going to give you a lot of vanilla, baking spices, stuff like that. The second one's going to give you some sweetness, some caramel, and then that third one is going to give you a little bit more of a sweet punch. So it seems like this would be a really sweet whiskey.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is the sugar content higher.
This sugar content, yeah, you can see
You
the
can
the,
tell.
the
Yeah.
tiers are going way slower.
Yeah.
and that curtain
And they're thicker.
and the curtain just stays there.
It just stays. That's why I thought the other one I don't feel like stayed there that whole time.
And it seemed like it went long on
Yeah.
the first one, but this is definitely way
Yeah,
more.
it is way more because I have a little bit of the first one left. And when you do the same thing, you see a big difference because it's still going.
yeah,
Like it started again. You know?
yeah, and being in a new barrel and then being in one of our used barrels, like it's just getting caramelized sugar in that wood
Yeah.
every single time.
Every time.
Yeah, and it's picking up, in the sherry cask is
So
picking
now,
up sugar.
when you send the barrels over there, do they reburn them on the inside?
I don't believe so.
They just use them the
Yeah.
way they are. You're not supposed to reburn them. That's just the first time.
The initial
Be-
burn.
and
Sloppy
and
seconds.
if they're using a 12 something that sat, let's say a 12-year bourbon,
Yeah.
they're getting 12 years. So what
Of
happens in
flavor
that barrel?
that wood.
The char is essentially a filtration system for the whiskey.
Right.
So, we talk about the temperature in Kentucky. They have cold winters, hot summers, it's humid. So that wood, expands and contracts.
Yeah.
And so basically, let's say you have a 3 char on there, which is maybe half an inch, maybe a little bit less. And it gets, when the wood expands in the heat, the whiskey gets pulled in and
In.
it filters it.
Right.
When it gets cold and
Pushes
it
it out.
pushes it out.
Mm.
12 years of 12
Wow.
seasons doing that. And then we ship it over there. It's going to have some stuff left in it.
Good
And that's
stuff,
where,
right.
yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
And then when it
That's where a
does
lot of
that
us
over
come
there,
from.
it's going to let out all of the other good stuff.
My question is, how
So it's
many?
really an American whiskey.
Yeah.
Is what?
It's really an American whiskey.
We have our fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
For sure.
How
Yeah.
many years does it spend in each cast?
They did not say this.
Ah.
This is a non-age statement whiskey.
Okay.
I would assume that they're probably doing the most in the first, so it's
Yeah.
spending the most time in the virgin, and then a year or two probably in the used. Because
For-
when it's
for
used
coloring and
for
flavoring.
coloring and flavoring, and when it's like you were saying, when it's used like that, we got everything out of it for the bourbon. We everything in there that we charred,
Yeah.
that thing got its life extracted out of it, and then
Right.
we send it over there, and it's got a little bit of life left. But that's why it's going to be
It's like the
you know,
reusing of a
Yeah.
coffee
yeah. That's
filter.
why
It's
it's going
so
to be
much
this
darker.
color versus this color. This
Yeah.
is the virgin barrel for bourbon, and this is what it looks like after it got used.
It's
so.
like reusing coffee grains.
That's coffee
Grounds?
filter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Your
Yeah.
turn.
All
Keep
right.
pouring it through.
Now, I typically am not an Irish whiskey fan. I want to just say that before I even
It's
try
not.
this.
It's never been my first
But
choice.
I've only had the main name, J name.
like JMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whiskey tasting. We can say brand names.
I didn't know. I didn't know if we were just staying.
I mean, maybe we can. It's also your podcast. So.
No, we can. Yeah, Jameson is good. Now, our friend, he drinks the Jameson in the extra casts, or
Yeah.
whatever, the really expensive Jameson, and it's not bad. But so I'm interested to see.
I like the first one better than I like that stuff that Marlon drinks.
Okay, let's see
So
what
we'll
you
see
think
about
about
this one.
Hear
I
that,
like-
Marlon.
I like this one because it's kind of like Irish craft whiskey,
Okay.
which doesn't really exist.
Let's see, it goes right to my nose.
It's so really sweet.
Yeah.
What's those
It's-
two second barrels that
It's
give it that
less-
sweetness?
Yeah, and it's pretty smooth.
Less
It is
burny.
There's not a burn, not a big burn.
A lot more
So
flavor.
So this is also barley.
Oh, tricker!
Oh.
You
So
snuck it in.
I did. So the thing that the Irish do, which is why I don't dislike Irish whiskey, is that they typically distill it 3 times. So are you guys vodka drinkers?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the point of vodka, right? To not taste like anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's great.
right.
and-
Especially not rubbing alcohol.
yeah. Don't make it taste like anything. So it's kind of that concept. So they only do it 3 times, not like, Grey Goose that does it 100 times or something
Right.
crazy. But it still strips out, for me, it strips out that main barley profile.
Yeah.
And what I'm left with is what happens in those used American barrels.
Right.
And so I think that's why my affinity for Irish supersedes my affinity for Scotch, because I just can't taste the barley as much. Like, if I told you that it was the same grain as the Japanese, would you have believed me?
No.
Or if I made you guess what grain it was, you
No,
would have never
yeah.
been
No.
like, yeah, that's just the first
Or if
one.
you'd-
Uh-uh.
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
beginning.
that triple distillation really takes the barley flavor out of
Yeah,
Irish
out of it.
whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's really smooth. It's
And that's
very
why I
good.
tell a lot of when I
It's
was
way better than Jameson.
oh, for sure.
It's
And
so
it's
good.
cheaper.
It's cheaper, right?
Yeah. They're
Wow.
coming out with a couple different. I think they're doing like a 10 or 12 year. They're coming out with some higher profile ones.
I like
but
it's got a caramel flavor to
Yeah.
it.
For
You
sure, yeah.
definitely taste that caramel.
that's that
Totally.
second barrel.
Don't take my. I said caramel, so don't write it down.
I will write down anything I want.
He said
Birthday
caramel.
boy.
Awesome.
I'm writing caramel right now.
That's exactly right. Oh, it's good.
That's really good.
Are you getting warm yet? I'm getting warm.
Well, this shirt I'm wearing is warm. These shirts of ours, these Everything Swallow podcast T-shirts that you can buy on our website at everythingswallowpodcast.com. They are high quality T-shirts. They're very warm.
Yeah, they're very thick.
Looks thick.
Very thick. Very,
Very
nicely
thick.
made. The quality of the printing and the tie dye is just on point.
On point.
Visit the store and get one for yourself.
While supplies last.
That's right.
Well, we will never run out.
This one's good. I like this one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
A little musical interlude
Very sweet.
while we have our whiskey.
Where's the Hall & Oates?
Nah, Hall & Oates is later.
We're not there yet.
Now, this one is called Slan.
Slain.
Slain.
Slane. S-L-A-N-E.
Made at
Slain.
Slain Castle.
I love that. I want to go there.
Yeah,
I
that
wanna
would
go
be
see
kind of
it.
cool.
Yeah.
It tastes like a less whiskey.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's what
Like
I'm
a less
getting.
harsh one. It's not harsh.
Yeah.
It's really smooth.
When people tell me the thing they don't like about whiskey is the harshness, I will generally go find 4 Irish whiskeys to give them and let them try.
Yeah.
I had a lady when I was bartending at a whiskey lounge came in and told me what she liked, so I really thought I hit it. I got her a special reserve Maker's Mark, and I ended up buying it for her because she hated it so much. She was completely convinced that I had no idea what I was talking about. So she came in a couple months later. She's like, "Do you remember me? You gave me Maker's Mark and I hated it." And I was like, "Yeah, I for sure remember you." She's like, "I want to like whiskey." I was like, "Okay." So I sat down, had like a 30-minute conversation about what she drinks. You know, she's a margarita tequila drinker.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting together on the fly at the whiskey bar a tasting for her, and her 2 favorite in that tasting were 2 Irish.
Oh, wow.
And it was because they didn't predominantly taste like whiskey as we know it. You know, bourbon hits hard, Scotch hits hard.
Yeah.
It was smooth. She had great taste. It was a $300 bottle that she really ended up liking. So I gave her a, I don't know, $80 pour of whiskey for free.
Yeah.
But I found one that she liked.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just about taking the time. Like, if you don't love the taste of whiskey, you might still like Irish whiskey. You know,
Right.
you're probably not going to like Japanese or Scotch because
Right.
that is whiskey in its truest form.
Yeah. This is good.
I
It
like
is
this
good.
one.
I like it better than the JMO.
Yeah.
I have
absolutely.
a friend that I keep his whiskey at my house, and I made him switch from JMO to this. This is now
Mhm.
what he drinks at my
Yeah.
house.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
He's
Come on.
fine. He's just as long as it's Irish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll have to turn Mara onto it.
Yeah.
Awesome. What did you guys think?
It's good. You can definitely taste the sweetness in it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really smooth.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of flavor too.
I just love that it doesn't taste like barley.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's very
But
good.
it's not even remotely similar to number 1.
No, not at
No,
all.
no.
Not at
Completely
all.
different than
Completely
was
different.
than the
really
Toki.
burning.
The
You
hand
can smell
sanitizer?
this one. That one you couldn't smell. Burn up
Yeah.
his nose.
Yeah.
He's gonna feel
I
that.
couldn't even smell the other one.
I like it.
You like
So
it.
interesting thing about doing a tasting with men and women is that women have a fantastic nose.
Thank you.
Every tasting I do with a combo, women just hit it out of the park as far as, you know, they'll
Yeah, better smellers. They are.
better smellers. Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a whiskey and I'll just give it to her and be like, "What are you smelling?" That she just kills the
Smells it.
smelling. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I smell burning.
It smells like alcohol.
Right.
And even the palate sometimes. Oh, that's so weird. I love this whiskey just for its complete newness to me. So this one is I'm gonna say Amrut. Could be Amrut. There was no phonetic spelling for me on the interweb. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it Amrut.
Amrut.
What do you think, babe? Amrut?
Talk Indian.
That's
one language.
Bear-
So this is an Indian
This
whiskey.
is Indian, which is until about 2010 when Jim Murray, who writes the famous whiskey Bible, he's pretty much a self-proclaimed master of all whiskey, and he does rankings every year. And he weirdly called this one a few years ago one of the
Amrut.
top 3 in the world, which I was just telling her on the way down here. I really think what he does is puts the most random whiskey he can find in a hat and pulls its name out, and that's what he gives a great ranking to that year as a complete as an unknown whiskey. Then just to watch what happens to the world,
Right.
You know, because now it's expensive. This is a $70 bottle.
Wow.
And this is the low end of theirs. This is pretty much the one they started with. So Indian whiskey has a dirty past and kind of a dirty current. It's actually not allowed to be sold in European Union countries with the word whiskey on the front. Most Indian whiskey has always been distilled molasses, which is rum, with only about 10 to 12% being whiskey.
Wow.
This is the exception to that tragedy. This is done correctly. It's a single malt. It's also barley. They do things super similar to Scotland. It's a solid whiskey. I do really, really like this one.
How long have you been drinking this one?
This is one that was introduced to me when I first got the bartending job.
Mm-hmm.
So not very long. I guess about a year. There's only one other Indian whiskey I know of that's allowed to have the whiskey title on it. It's called Rampur. It's also really good, but it reminds me a little bit of Japanese whiskey. It's a little younger, a little less refined. This one, I think they're doing a really good job. It's very refined. It's very whiskey forward, if you will. It doesn't taste like something that is unknown to me. So it's a good one. I love the way it smells. I just think this is one of the most interesting
Amrit.
whiskeys.
I was like, what in the hell? Great timing. Amrit.
Whoops.
And I believe they're using all Indian grown grains.
Interesting.
Malt.
So, yeah.
That would be interesting to see it over there,
So
the whole process.
when I first saw this at the I was interested in that too, because it's climate wise,
Right.
It doesn't seem like
It's so
that there would be a climate for this, because you kind of need that ebb and flow.
right.
You don't need constant heat, and there's just not.
It's just constantly
It's
hot there.
just constantly hot. There's not a ton of humidity. It's dry, so that's part of the problem.
No, this one smells like a Scotch to me.
It is barley. That would make sense.
Yeah, I can just right away. It's a single malt whiskey.
I feel like it looks thick. Right?
It does look thick. Yeah.
Mhm.
It does look really thick.
And I feel like it takes forever for the tears. Legs,
Curtains, honey.
Curtains.
Curtains. Think
No,
meat.
that's the curtain.
Think
It's
meat
curtain.
curtain.
It's
Tears
curtain
and
and
don't
tears.
think meat curtains.
No, don't
Oh.
think that.
This is a family show.
I don't know what show you've been listening to, girl. But do not let your kids listen to this.
I don't want to associate them together. Meat curtains with my whiskey.
Well, they're both wonderful.
Yeah, it's taking a long time.
Does seem thick. But it also has a very strong flavor that burns your nose.
Just
You're
because
too
I said
close.
nice things about this one does not mean it's my favorite.
Right.
I just appreciate that they're not selling us a bottle of molasses.
And
Yeah,
this
it's
is
not
from
for me.
India.
I hate
India.
Yeah,
They're
this
drinking
is not
this.
for
They're
me.
drinking this in India.
Yeah,
But there's a
India.
lot like
India is one of the countries that consumes the most whiskey.
Really?
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 That
Interesting.
rum
Yeah, I'm
whiskey?
not sure where it's at. I mean, it probably has a lot to do with population, but
Tastes like Glenlivet.
I want to say it's in the top five,
Yeah,
top
that's
three,
what I
maybe.
smelled
Yeah.
when I smelled it.
Interesting. Now this, I feel like this is what Scotch tastes like to me so much.
We're gonna drink a scotch next.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
was
so it's
super
gonna get
smoky.
worse. The first two were fine.
Oh yeah!
Glenlivet with black licorice.
Wow.
There is a black licorice in
Yeah.
there for sure.
Yeah.
I see what you mean
And
now when
it's
you
a-
say in the back of the mouth.
Yeah.
Because this one sticks around back there.
Yeah, and
Very
what
much so.
Whereas
the
other
black
ones didn't.
licorice for me is on the back of my
Yeah,
mouth.
that's where I got
It does. It didn't happen at the beginning,
Right.
Right.
Interesting.
It just
Oh,
tasted like scotch. Then you got that at the end.
Yeah.
That's for me.
and you
Yeah.
can almost like section off your tongue and tell where it is.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Strong.
It's strong.
I don't think
Flavor.
it's that.
No, the alcohol is not
See,
strong,
this is
but
kinda
the
like the-
peppery kind of
Is it-
bite.
Is it smoky?
Yeah.
'Cause
Mhm.
that's what I'm getting. That I don't
Smoky.
like.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the desert.
I don't like the smoky
It
either.
was carried by camels.
Yeah.
You figured.
46.
Barrel by barrel.
Figured it had
By
some kind of interaction with a camel.
It's almost
Spit in it,
100 proof.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's up there. It doesn't burn like 100.
Man.
No, it doesn't burn like 100 proof. When we would do bourbon and bacon, that's just all bourbons.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
That's why they curve those.
That's exactly right.
So when
Oh, your notes are gonna get blurry.
no.
you just lost.
Oh boy.
I think
Oh,
you
I
might
Who's
have.
winning now?
Me.
All right.
So I always tell people when I do tastings, if you want to, if you have the capacity to leave a little in your glass, it's going to taste different after it's warmed up for a while,
Yeah.
and you can go
Add
back
some
and
air.
taste your first one after you taste your last one, and maybe you don't hate Japanese whiskey as much as you thought you did.
Right.
So
I was
yeah,
totally okay with
I
the
just
first
wasn't warmed up.
so it'll change a little bit. Obviously, you don't have to, because if you don't like it, you don't like it.
So you still, is the first one still your favorite?
I'd say we're pretty even between the first and the second. Like they're different, but they were fine.
Yeah.
You know, the third
This-
one I don't like. This one.
This one really sticks around. It really
It changes.
and it because it's so thick in the glass, I feel like it's that thick going down my sarcophagus.
Yeah, I would call this a heavy whiskey. This
Yeah.
isn't a summer drinker.
No. And I want as soon as I took my first drink, I wanted to put water in it.
You can. I mean, it's 100 proof.
Yeah.
You can do that and see if it changes. So I typically don't advise putting drops of water in anything under 100. I just don't think there's a need for it. Under 100 isn't. You know, I have stuff at home that's 136 proof. Definitely put a couple drops in that.
Oh, yeah, probably a couple drops.
I still
Get
drink.
it down to
I
at
drink
least
that with no.
134.
Yeah, can't bring it down to 120.
I don't. I don't bring it down to anything. I drink that straight.
Uh-huh.
You should get a test. That's actually her favorite too.
Yeah.
So if you want to, you can put your finger on top of the straw and put a couple drops in there.
Yeah.
Smell it first, taste it one more time, and then do the water. And it's. I did this at the bar all the time. It's such a great parlor trick because it completely changes
Yeah.
everything.
It changes the flavor profile.
Changes the nose. It changes everything. It's just bonkers.
I need
With that
to
much,
do
I would do like maybe just 2 or 3 drops.
Bonkers.
I would like to change the flavor of this.
I did 2.
You did way too many drops.
I did 2.
Yeah, but no.
They were heavy.
2 strawfuls.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
So
Don't be
smell it one more
frickin'-
time,
don't
it
be drudging
even though
my
you don't
drips,
like
okay?
It, taste it a little bit more, and then do the water, and you'll see it'll. In my humble opinion, it's a parlor trick. It completely changes it.
Is this the third one still?
Oh yeah, it does.
Totally
Oh,
different.
it makes
right?
it way sweeter, in my opinion. Yeah,
Pass
sweetened
that
it up.
water, Jen. Better.
So
Sweetened it up.
whiskey,
Better.
whiskey is a tight molecule drink, just like all higher proof alcohols. So when you add that water, it kind of gets in there and splices through those molecules, which is
Crazy.
also why I tell people, drink it how you like it. If you want to put Coke in your whiskey, put Coke in your whiskey. I don't really care, but at least give it what it deserves and taste it this way first. I tell people not to leave whiskey in their freezer. If you want to put it on ice, put it on ice. But if when you put it on ice, it takes those already tight molecules and it makes them even tighter.
Right.
So you're not actually tasting the whiskey as the whiskey was made.
Right.
You've now changed the genetic makeup of the whiskey, and the molecules are so tight that ice really changes it. So if you want to add ice, put it in a glass first, take a couple sips as, the good whiskey lords intended us to,
Mhm.
and then throw a cube in it,
Right.
to enjoy slowly.
Yeah.
But definitely give it its due purpose and taste it
Right.
before that.
Did it help? Did it make it better for you?
It's just more to drink.
I think it got worse.
It just
Yeah.
made more to drink.
Yeah.
It definitely changed. And
I
there was only
love
like
it.
2 drops, but it
It
got
didn't-
worse.
It got,
still
it got
got
worse.
But you liked the first one.
That's so funny.
The-
It was
Yeah.
a blend.
you
Jay-
like the Japanese one,
I like J Baby on the podcast. She says it's not vodka. Keep it out of the freezer.
right? All right, cool. Yeah, that one not my favorite.
No, not mine either.
India,
Oh.
so I know when I go to India not to drink this one.
Yeah.
Nope, just ask for
Have
some
the water.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, Jim Beam.
Right. What else do they have over there? Right.
That's what I was expecting this whole thing to be like, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's not my jam.
No.
I-
I was
even-
okay with the first 2.
I
The
even
third
feel
one
pretty
was
bad
really
with putting
bad.
this one in there because
Oh god, it's coming.
But that's how you learn.
Oh boy.
so this is a legit Scotch.
Okay.
It's unpeated though,
Okay.
so there's no peat in it.
Okay.
For the love of Pete.
We kicked peat right out.
What are like the cheaper scotches?
I still don't like it.
Cuddy Shark.
Yeah, it sticks.
Cuddy Shark.
Cuddy Shark.
Well, I'm asking because
sticks
this
around.
is it's going to be a good
This
bottle.
is a $90 bottle.
Right, and so like for people who are
'Cause
just
sugar.
drinking scotch, they're not buying that bottle.
No,
Probably not,
All
right?
right.
I mean you can get Lefroy 10 is pretty expensive, but the I don't know. I don't even know if it has an age statement. There's some cheaper bottles of Lefroy. Cutty Shark is not good. The thing about Scotch is that there's so many Scotches out there that pretty much all of them have what would be considered a lower end.
Right.
The other thing about Scotch, though, is that they just don't do many things that are young.
Right.
You know, I mean, a 15-year Scotch is considered young.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't even old enough to drink 15 years ago. So that went into a barrel when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
So
He can have this one. No,
You can't give it to him.
Yeah.
So the reason that I own this Scotch, the reason that this Scotch is in my collection is because just like Slane, it is triple finished.
Right.
So they're putting it in God, I keep getting Slane and Auchentoshan.
Auchentoshan. That's what this one's called.
Yeah, this is one of the
Auchentoshan.
fun, all the Scotch names. I have a page in one of my whiskey notebooks that is all the Scotches that have crazy names and then how to say them phonetically, just because they are insane.
Right.
And working at a whiskey lounge, it was important to
you need to know. It's the same when you're a sommelier.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, and you can see it's super dark. It's North American.
It is dark.
North American oak, which is probably used. So used bourbon barrel, just like we were talking about. Oloroso cherry with sherry cask, which is Spanish, and then they're using another Pedro sherry cask. So they're going bourbon, sherry.
Right.
So this is, I mean, that is dark.
Oh man.
Right. It's
It's
dark.
wonderful.
And it doesn't have an age statement, but for Scotland, if it doesn't have an age statement, it's probably still 10 years
Yeah.
old. Oh, it is 12 years old. So I did find this online. So this is 12 years old, 10 in the American white oak barrel, 1 in each of the sherry barrels.
Right.
Ooh, I like sherry
Right.
finished whiskeys.
I do too.
I
but-
really do.
So the reason I have this is because it's one of the only Scotches that I really got behind, that I enjoyed.
Okay.
Again, it's probably because it was finished in 3 different types of wood. It covers
Right.
up some of the barley that I'm not a huge fan of.
Right.
Oh, it smells so good.
Does it?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it smells so good.
Oh, that's nice.
And this is what proof is this?
43% alcohol, so 96.
90 something. Okay. I like it. I don't even. It smells.
I
so
do like
good.
this one.
It smells. I'm trying to
And you can see we're getting
put the.
predominantly
Mhm.
darker. Although we're going to jump back into the light here in a minute.
It's really good. Smooth.
It is smooth. Yeah, I and honestly, they have a line. Auchentoshan has several whiskeys. I want to say they're 12-year or maybe 14-year. They have another one that's not triple wood, and it's still, somebody who is admittedly, an American whiskey drinker. They make a good whiskey for sure. They leave peat out of it. It's smooth. It's. I still don't love Scotch, but I just really like what this one does.
It's pretty
Nice full
smooth.
flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not a Scotch fan either, and this is not bad.
And for me, most Scotch.
And I feel like the smokiness is not as bad as the last one.
I think that's because those 2 sherry casks
They really take it off.
Yeah,
like
and
take
Man.
that edge off.
And
They
give
put
it-
some sweetness
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
That's so
Man,
good.
you would love that Cavalon I was telling you about.
Oh, I bet.
I just can't freaking find it.
Love it.
Yeah, I like this one.
I'm trying to find every drinking song I can.
I have an entire playlist on Spotify. It's like 200 songs. They all say the word whiskey.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's ridiculous.
I love it. A lot
And
of country
I'm
songs.
gonna
I've
find you
noticed.
on
I didn't.
Spotify.
I didn't vet them.
Yeah.
I just found them with the word whiskey and put them
Put
in
'em
the
in
playlist.
there.
There's some real gems in there.
This one's good.
Mm.
I don't hate it because I'm not a Scotch fan at all, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, and then that's
It doesn't bite me normally like I feel like Scotch does.
This is one of my
Scotch
secret
is like,
weapons.
when I take it, you know immediately
Yep.
what you've gotten, and
Yeah.
this is not bad.
because it doesn't have that peat. It's got those 3 different woods, just like the Slane. That just
Right.
it does something awesome to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, I don't know. It's fun to learn these things, and the slight differences, the slight changes that make such a big difference.
And that's
Country
what's
by country.
that's what's cool about these whiskeys is even though they're all from all over the world, there's something. It went together really well.
Mhm.
There's been a progression of how we've been tasting them.
Yeah,
We're gonna step outside that progression a little bit.
She's like, until now.
yeah.
I had to put this
Never
one.
mind.
I had to put this this French one towards the end because I don't want to give too much away before you taste it because it's a fun one to watch people taste. But I had to put it towards the end because it can mess up your palate a little bit because
Right.
it's so interesting.
Oh, fun.
I think it would have lingered way too long if I would have put it at the beginning. So
Yeah.
I put it towards the end.
Oh, good. Something to look
This
forward
is
to.
the French whiskey.
I'm scared. It's not going to stop. So
Yeah.
all my pours they have little ball bearings in there, so it stops.
Yeah.
That
One
one's
doesn't.
too big. So I was like, she's going to keep pouring.
She's gonna have to eyeball it.
I like the little background
I
music
know.
in my head. I'm like,
That's right. This is nice.
it'd be
This
cool
is
if we just
good.
do that all the time. Just have quiet background music
in
your head.
You don't have that.
Narrating what's going on.
No.
I have that.
I have little stressed out voices.
You gotta get your own soundtrack. man.
Yeah, you do.
For sure.
Those stressed out voices go to like thrash metal.
Yeah, right.
I can
Why is there
smell
corn playing in my head?
Exactly. I know.
Is
Hey,
that-
will you bring down another chair?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the red ones up there.
that. I can
So we're-
smell this already, and it's
we're-
gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to France, people.
Oh.
Going to
I don't
So let me
France.
let me
I
tell you
don't
the
think I
story
wanna
about
go.
this whiskey.
I'm upstairs and I go,
I don't
ha. I go, there's a French person in the house. I said, maybe that's why I feel it so strongly.
Smells like cheese wine.
Cheese wine.
My her and my cousin are very, very close, and he has the most hysterical French accent and does it constantly when he's at our house. So the first time I ever had this whiskey, I got kind of as a joke because I was doing a tasting for some of her coworkers, and I thought it would be fun to open a bottle of French whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, there's a handful now in France that are making whiskey, but by and large, it's not something that the French people do, nor do I know if it's something the French people should be doing.
Right.
Huh? Oh yeah,
Right.
they have great fashion and they have great wine and they have great cognac. What
They
else?
gave us the menage a trois.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, existentialism.
That's
I-
right.
I'm gonna start telling her that I that I eat freedom fries,
That's right. Not French
not French fries,
yeah.
freedom fries. So I got this as kind of a joke.
This is a traditional French drinking song. You can't hear it. You don't have headphones.
Woo.
Oh, there you go.
Feedback.
It's not bad. So it's
It's
a good
not
song.
bad.
Okay, we'll just let that play.
Okay, so I buy this bottle of whiskey. I've never tried it. I'm doing a tasting with her and some of her coworkers. We open it. First time I've tasted it, we all pour it, and we're all just silent. And we all just start looking around the table at each other like nobody wants to say what they just tasted.
Right.
Like it has one of the most distinct whiskey flavors. It's owned by an American
Ooh.
ballerina who is not a ballerina anymore. She bought a
That's so
she bought a brandy distillery
Yes.
in where's it at, babe?
Smells like feet.
Huh? It's in the Cognac
Bananas.
region, right? Yep, that's where it's at, everybody.
right. Pinot Noir.
So
It's the weirdest
it's a cognac distillery that's been there for generations, and she convinced them to start making whiskey, right?
Ah.
It is really cool. It's all organic. Everything is grown on this distillery. They call it seed to spirit. They're using the same yeast that they were using to distill the cognac, so going forward, jumping ahead, when you taste this, I want you to be very, very honest with me about what you taste, because there's one very distinct flavor that everybody usually gets out of this.
Did you try it, Jen?
No, I'm afraid. I don't even want to pick it up.
It
Smell
doesn't
it.
smell bad.
What
It smells
really
sweet.
good.
It smells so sweet and
But
weird.
what sweetness do you smell
Doesn't
like?
it?
There's
I
Smells
don't
like
know. I'm
bananas.
trying to kind of.
smells like
Oh, it does
smells
have
like
bananas.
I think it smells a little bit like cotton candy.
Yeah.
No, I'm
I
getting
No,
smell
I get the
bananas.
banana. I'm
I
getting
do
the
too.
banana real strong.
real strong banana. Yeah.
And I love a good banana.
Well, it's only when you
I
get
love
close
cotton
from
candy.
far away. That is not what it smells like.
But I noticed
But
it seems
further
so
away-
watery.
So I have
so
become
thin.
so obsessed with this whiskey because of its oddity. I have Allison Park is her name. She is the owner of Bren. When I was doing tastings at the Whiskey Lounge, I really desperately wanted to call her, text her something, and be like, "Can you tell me why it tastes like this?" Because they don't have the same rules as bourbon does, so they can add flavors and colors in France. So
Okay.
from everything I have been able to research about this, they are not adding anything. I don't think that they could and still call it organic unless it would be a different color at that point.
Right.
So did everybody taste it?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
It's super sweet.
It
And
reminds
it
me of
does
Southern
feel.
comfort to a degree.
Oh,
To a degree, like in the beginning, but then it's definitely.
you think it tastes like
better.
blueberries?
It tastes like a fruit for sure.
It's so they do classify this as a fruit forward.
Yeah.
I have researched the crap out of this whiskey because I was so convinced that they were doing something shady.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find anything. My
It's
my
very
new
fruity.
theory is so, babe. What's it? How terroir? Terroir. So you guys know what that is in wine?
Mm-mm.
It's about the senses and the way things taste from the soil where it's grown. So wine. Yeah.
Wherever the animals, the region, the climate, the soil, all that has an influence on the taste.
Ah.
But
Like if the cow got into a bunch of onions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But typically you don't hear them talk about that with whiskey.
Right. I would never guess this as a whiskey.
No, it's
Exactly.
It's
So
like a
that's-
fruit
It
wine.
Yeah,
does.
it's really
It does
good.
not taste like
Tastes
a
like a
whiskey.
dessert wine
It
almost.
tastes
Yeah.
like a
Do you like
dessert
it?
wine. Something desserty, right?
Does not taste like wine.
No,
it
but
tastes
it tastes
like a fruit something.
like a-
it
yeah.
tastes like bananas.
Yeah,
It's
I
full
thought it
on
tastes
like
banana
bananas.
drinks.
If somebody gave this to me
What do you
prior
think?
to me knowing about it and said, "What do you think
Banana
that
what?
is?" I would have wondered if it was whiskey, but I don't know if I would have landed on it being
No,
whiskey.
I would never have.
So-
What?
Banana runt.
Oh,
it
the
kind of has
candy.
that candy
That
banana
candy
runt flavor.
The outer candy shell flavor too. I get that.
So, like I said, I've done a ton of research. I have done everything short of trying to stalk this owner. I have a suspicion that it might be their yeast that they're using that makes it taste that fruity. So people don't realize that the yeast that we put in all of these things to ferment it has such an imparting flavor
Right.
profile,
Well,
right?
you would think, yeah.
So like Four Roses out of Kentucky, they have
Wow.
they have 5 proprietary yeast strains that they use. One is really spicy, one is really floral, one is really fruity.
Right.
Because yeast has so much flavor. And they're using a yeast that's generations old from
I can't
cognac.
even imagine. Have you ever baked with yeast?
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's horrible,
Yeah,
right? And it
yeah.
smells horrible. So to think of it that it has a floral flavor,
yeah.
or it's like,
And
are you
people
kidding
don't
me?
realize how
Right.
much of a flavor it imparts
Yeah.
and how many different yeast strains you can have. So I'm convinced now that they are not doing anything shady and that their yeast has one of the most distinct flavors from that region that
Yeah.
I've ever tasted in my life.
Yeah.
So I don't love it because it's not whiskey to me. It doesn't
It doesn't taste like
read
whiskey.
like whiskey.
Yeah.
They have a recipe on their website, or I follow them on Instagram or something, like a blueberry old fashioned, because people really legit
Yeah.
are like, this tastes like blueberries.
Yeah.
To me, it tastes like blueberries.
Really,
Yeah.
it's all
And you
banana.
get-
definitely got banana
Yeah,
the
I don't
smell
get any
and the
blueberries.
taste.
God, it tastes like blueberry bubble gum to
How
me.
No,
funny.
it's all
It's
banana.
definitely.
I get the banana runt.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But I do. It is. If you wouldn't say, you would have to
I
play
like
with it a
the-
while to figure out what fruit it is, because you know it's fruity.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's fruity.
And they, I
What
mean, they
is
say
it?
it right on there, like fruit forward.
Yeah,
I mean, I still, if you're listening, I want to talk to you, Allison Park.
that's right.
Us too. Call it Everything Swallow Podcast.
That's right.
.com. Yeah.
I have lots of questions.
Yes.
So yeah, I love.
right.
I will always have a bottle of this at my house. I think it is extraordinarily entertaining, and
It's not horrible.
no,
It's really good.
I just don't know if I could sit back and sip it and think this is a great whiskey.
no, it's
No, it does not have
It is
that.
definitely desserty.
Yeah,
So it would have to be
and
like
summery.
finishing.
I don't know that I'd want
yeah.
to drink this in the winter and
No.
sit
For a
by
gag.
a fire.
This is just something. Hey, you guys want to try something?
That is exactly what I do at my
Yeah,
house. You want to try
exactly.
something weird? Is
Yeah.
what I say.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
When
yeah.
we say that here, people they raise an eyebrow. They're like,
Yeah.
is this
No.
a clothing
I
option
know. I
or
was gonna say,
something weird?
do you have to take clothes off? So yeah, so I put that one super. It probably should have been earlier in the lineup, but because it is such an interesting flavor and does impart so many different. Obviously, I taste blue bubble gum, and you guys taste bananas.
Yeah.
I smell bananas in the second one.
Huh.
And I don't usually tell people that because it's very suggestive, right? That's why I
Right.
didn't say too much about the
Right.
way this
Oh,
tasted.
banana either.
As soon if I told you, oh, I smell chocolate covered cherries, you'd be like, yeah, I think I do too.
Right.
Right.
Now this would be good to like bake with,
Probably.
just because it does
Oh,
have that
maybe.
really good
Put it in
flavor.
omelet.
Yeah.
Cook.
Not in an omelet.
Do a
I could see,
flambe.
yeah,
maybe
but yeah, absolutely.
Braising some bananas.
Yep, absolutely. In it.
This bottle
Steak and
is
potatoes.
$70.
Okay, that's not bad.
And they have a 10-year that is really hard to find that I really want to try. I want to see
Huh.
if the barrel kills, because they're also one of the only, so they're one of the only whiskeys in the world using French oak specifically barrels.
Oh,
Fun.
French oak.
right.
I mean,
What
it's
does
just
that
another
do?
thing. The French
runs
oak.
away.
It's got to be better than the American oak,
Right.
right?
It's way more snobby.
Whoa.
I want to see if being
more
in a barrel
flavorful.
for 10 years takes the fruit away.
Yeah.
I'm really curious
Yeah.
to know. It should, in my mind's eye,
Right.
it should kill some of that fruit and
Right.
taste more like a whiskey.
Right.
And it's only this is only 80 proof. Arguably, this should have been the number one whiskey we tried tonight.
So
Really?
Yeah, because it's such low proof.
you haven't found the second one to try it.
No,
yet.
it's a 10-year. They don't release very many bottles. So when she bought this distillery, they started making whiskey and stuff. She didn't even release it in France. She took
Oh.
it to New York.
Wow.
And from what I can research on the internet, I think she rode around a little bicycle in Manhattan and took it to liquor stores and tried to convince them to put it on their top shelf to convince them that it was like super. I mean, it's French, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna if you put
Yeah.
something
Right,
French
right.
on the top shelf,
yeah,
we're gonna believe you. We just think French stuff is that
it's good. Yeah,
I mean, French stuff's good. I
it is
get
good. Right.
I am not coming to another tasting if you have a French whiskey.
So no, but that's the thing is it's not bad.
It's not
just
bad.
weird as hell.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
different.
I
It's
love the
way
You
weirdness
would
of it.
not
Yeah.
know it was a whiskey.
No, and I love that. I love the weirdness of it. It is my favorite thing. I literally just said I'm excited to see what they do next because I think they're doing cool shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, she didn't
See, I
even
get
release.
the
She
weird
didn't even
bubble.
release it in France. That's 100 proof.
Oh, that's his favorite.
I get the weird bubble all the time. Bloop.
He gets
It's
a
my
double.
birthday,
So,
though.
yeah, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday.
That's great.
So I usually don't. There are 6 tastings on there on your note page. I try to usually stay around 5, especially if a lot of them are higher proof because your palate just dies after
Right.
5 or 6. These are all fairly light, so I don't think our palate's dead. Also, I just couldn't put this tasting together and not end it with my true love,
Right.
Yeah.
which is just good old American bourbon.
Yeah.
Right.
This is Knob Creek 12-year, which for a
Ooh, 12-year.
for a bourbon is a pretty high year. They're going to want to put an age statement on that. People want to.
Right.
We've had Knob Creek before,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not 12-year.
I don't know.
It just rolled out. So the 12-year and the 15-year that I really
It's
wanted, but
taken
it
a
was
few years
sold
for it
out.
to get here.
Not
Now,
bad.
we have had some really good ones that are really old, like 25, 30.
I love those.
Those are really good.
Yeah, it's like I tell people it's like licking the inside of the barrel.
Yeah.
So good.
And you just get
Bitey.
so warm.
Yeah, it's warm. It's definitely a fire time. Sit around the fire
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Is this a Tennessee whiskey?
This
Kentucky?
this is Kentucky, Tennessee. Knob Creek is made by Jim Beam.
Okay.
Fred No, more specifically, I think he considers Knob Creek his little baby of Jim Beam. I was super lucky enough to do a private tasting with Fred No, who's the master distiller of Jim Beam. It's been
Sweet.
handed down for generations,
Right.
generations.
Sweet.
This is considered their higher end whiskey.
Right.
So Basil Hayden is Jim Beam. Old Granddad is Jim Beam. Old Granddad is that orange bottle on the bottom shelf that's usually
Yeah,
about 19
we
brought
bucks.
that,
we
yeah.
bought that.
So that is legit one of the best bourbons on the
It's a
planet.
good bourbon.
Yeah.
It is. And if you want to just up it, Basil Hayden is
Is
Old
the-
Granddad.
Okay.
Just longer aging.
Oh, interesting.
So this is 100 proof. It's Knob Creek. It's out of Kentucky. It's good old American bourbon. This is,
Man, it looks
in my
good.
opinion, just the best and greatest form of whiskey. Not necessarily this, but just in general bourbon.
All right.
It's 100 proof. Also, out of all these whiskeys, bourbon is the most regulated food or drink in the world. There's more rules of what it means to be a bourbon than
smells
than
good.
anything else. So it has to be 50%,
Oh,
51% corn by volume.
okay.
Dang.
It's good, right?
That's no Jack Daniels.
No,
Now, do they make
It's really
bourbons around the world? Just here.
so that's one of the other rules: is bourbon can only be made in the United States.
Ah.
People, there's
It's
a
kind of like Irish whiskey can only be made
Scotch.
over there.
Scotland
Yeah.
can only you can now. People are doing American single malts, which is essentially an American Spirit Hound out of Lyons. They actually add peat to some of theirs, so
Okay.
but they still can't call it Scotch. Crown Royal started doing a bourbon mash bill,
Right.
which to be a bourbon you have to be 51% corn by volume. The other portion is typically rye. That's what we call high rise.
Do you know what will kill your Crown Royal craving? A whiskey tasting.
Shit, yeah.
Right.
No doubt.
But they did a bourbon mash bill, but they can't call it bourbon because they're in Canada.
Ah.
So they did this terrible marketing ploy, called it a bourbon mash bill. Everybody was in an uproar, like, you can't do that. What are you doing? And they killed that marketing immediately. It
Really?
just I saw it on the shelves and then it was just gone.
Gone.
Yeah. So bourbon has to be made in the United States. It has to be put in virgin American white oak barrels. There's some other rules that are probably innocuous to common people as far as how much aging and what it can go into the barrel at what
and
proof.
humidity levels and temperatures and things like that.
Not really temperatures and stuff, but people do different things regarding. I said do regarding where it's at in the rick houses. So if you're in a hot Kentucky summer and you're a barrel up high, 6-7 stories, you're gonna get a lot hotter.
Right.
So a lot of distilleries will just leave all their stuff, just put it where it fits, and just leave it and take it out. A lot of people go in and
they'll move them,
rotate everything,
rotate
so
them
that
out.
each barrel gets to be up high, each barrel gets to be up down low in the winter.
Yeah.
But I love craft whiskey. I love what the craft scene is doing, but I can't deny that the people in Kentucky figured it out first and best, and have all the best recipes and all the best properties. And Knob Creek will always be one of my favorites. It's named after where Lincoln was born, I believe.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And it's this is an $80 bottle.
Oh wow.
That's
a good bottle.
Yeah, there's about $300 worth of whiskey on the table.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Maybe a little bit more.
What the
more.
best birthday gift I ever had.
There you go.
You don't get to keep the bottles.
And the French one is great. It's just weird.
I really like the French one. It's because I like bananas.
Yeah.
I don't
Bananas.
Can you taste it and discern for yourself if I'm right or wrong about the weirdness?
Has she tried it?
I really
Probably, but she won't remember.
She tried too much of it.
All of her favorites are over 100 proof.
Right.
She's a big whiskey.
Yeah.
I think
I said cotton candy.
That's so great.
I think obviously the Knob Creek is just top shelf.
That was your number one?
But I really like this. And I'm not an Irish whiskey guy.
Yeah.
And this you say is $25 a bottle.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because I am such a rut guy. I buy the same thing.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
it's
it
a
does.
banana.
Very fruity.
But
It would be good on a banana flambe. Yeah.
It would be really good.
I still taste blueberries, and I think you're all crazy.
Isn't that weird? I love cilantro, and I taste a fresh vegetable. She tastes soap.
I taste soap.
Yeah.
That's genetic, though.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
So
horrible.
There's another theory that a lot of what you taste is really related to your history. So one of the things I
got my mouth washed out a lot with soap.
Maybe that's
I
why
did.
you hate
So did
cilantro.
And cilantro.
By Mexican people?
Yeah. Exactly.
So if you when I taste, I drink bourbon predominantly, obviously, and I
Right.
taste like leather a lot, and I taste.
Oh.
And people are like, "What are you doing? Like you chew on leather?" Or
No,
I
but
can-
it does, like, because we work with leather, and so
Yeah,
I know what you're
you
talking
can know
about.
what you think that might taste
Yep,
like,
and
or
just smelling
I
it all the
smell
time, you
different-
do taste it.
and I get different types of hay. I can discern like that tastes like or smells like wet hay.
Ah,
That smells like dirty, moldy hay.
Did you grow up on a
Interesting.
farm?
I grew up riding horses.
Oh,
Ah,
And
yeah.
so
Horses.
that thing that I
They're
pick up
farm-like.
in bourbon, and
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I loved cotton candy, and that's why I smell it in the French whiskey.
Right.
But yeah, there's this whole theory that when I went to Kentucky and did this bourbon conference, they had us do this thing, and it was going kind of back in our history, and then saying like, oh, that's probably why you taste this. Like,
Yeah.
I always taste leather, I always taste dirt, I always taste hay,
interesting.
and I always smell those things. And so if you think about like bananas, or I had a friend that was from Puerto Rico, and she always was like, it smells like mint a little bit. It's like, what do you? There's
Where's
nothing.
no mint?
There's nothing in this that would even
Mint,
remotely.
right.
Sure enough, I open a tasting book, and he says right in there, I get a hint of mint. I was like,
Shit.
bastard.
Right.
Like, what are you talking
Wow.
about? And she grew
It's
up
regional.
She grew up in Puerto Rico. She grew up with a lot of mint and a lot of mojitos and stuff. And
Yeah.
it was something just in that
Yeah.
sensory part of her brain. So
Yeah.
you like bananas.
Yeah.
I do like bananas.
Apparently, you like bananas too.
You should know that.
Too.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of bananas around the house.
No, they.
mean, you come into my house, you can tell I like banana. They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yep, she puts them in her purse and takes them to work,
Yeah.
and then brings them back home.
Good
and then takes them back
intention.
to work, and then
And
brings
then
them
they're
back home.
bruised to
Yeah.
death. Yeah.
And then there's banana goo in the bottom of the purse.
You know,
Oh, yuck.
that's the curse
so
of the
great.
banana. Is
It
it's the
is.
fruit of good intention.
It doesn't come in a good carrier.
I mean, and it's
No.
not like an apple. You can leave it in a couple of days in your purse and then be like, shit, I'm going to eat this apple already. No, banana's like, you intend to eat me or I die.
Well,
Yeah.
I've seen what she does with that purse, just throwing it all around. Like, no wonder it's all beat to
it's
shit.
all
in the
beat
bottom
up,
of there.
and then the more beat up it gets, the less you want to eat it.
True. True. And we can't make banana bread.
Right? No, because it's on the bottom of the purse.
No, it's too hot to bake.
Oh
True.
God.
What'd you think of that, Jen? Eric?
The Knob Creek.
Yeah.
It's really good.
He really likes it.
Yeah.
It's for 100 proof. It's very, very smooth.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for 100 proof, it doesn't have the sting.
It doesn't
that-
hit like 100.
No,
And that's
not at all.
I
Yeah.
tell people that all the time with whiskey. Like when we hear big proofs, we think of like drinking jungle juice in the sink in college.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that's this
College.
is such a refined 100 proof that it's
Fucking
never going to
social
hit like
studies.
that.
Right.
You know, I have 126, 136 at home, and yes, that has a burn.
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
that'll get you,
That
but it
lights on fire.
still is. It does.
It's still good.
Yeah, I threw a little bit in the fire just to see what happened.
Yeah.
It sparked up a little bit. It will not start a fire though, for reference.
It's not a potato chip.
Or like Bacardi 151.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with Doritos starting fire? That's weird.
Everything.
Yeah,
all
potato.
chips.
Oh, Pringles.
Yeah. Wavy Lays.
Wavy
so
Lays.
weird. I'm doing it
Wavy
next time.
Remember,
Yeah,
I started.
they're quick.
So you officially didn't like any of them?
No, that's not true.
She liked the French one.
I liked the first two, and I actually didn't mind the French one. This one's okay. I can tell that it's good. You know, like it is smooth. It goes down well. The flavor for this one doesn't stick around as long as some of the ones I really didn't like.
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of there and gone.
So it's there
Yeah.
and
Which is
gone.
weird for 100
Yeah.
proof.
Right.
Yeah, and I like that part of it. So I'm like, well, it's not.
This is a
I'm not. I feel like I'm
doesn't
not
linger.
suffering.
Yeah.
great
I'm just
cocktail
suffering over
bourbon.
here.
Which one is that dark one you have there that you didn't finish? Is that the Irish one?
No,
No,
that's
that's
Indian.
the
It's
No,
Oh,
the Indian's
no.
too
Yeah.
light. It's got to be.
It's the two in the
Hawkins.
middle. I didn't.
yeah.
It's got to
The
be either
Indian
this one.
No, it's the Indian one and this one.
Oh, you didn't like that one?
No,
Well,
this
hand
one
that
or
over.
that one.
Get that over.
liked that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, number 4 was Akentash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
So the 100 proof bourbons are amazing for cocktails.
I love.
Yeah.
This was my favorite. Now that I remember. I'm gonna write that down. This is my favorite.
My least favorite.
Number 5.
Mm-hmm. No,
This-
1,
No,
2,
number
3,
4.
4. The Akamatage.
Yeah, that
Akentash.
was probably.
Akatashin.
Akatosh Magash.
Akatashin.
That was-
Akatashin.
yep.
That sounds like that.
Akatosh Gagash?
Akatosh
Okabuch?
Magash. Yeah.
Akatashin.
Whiskey glasses. I'm doing pretty good on the whiskey drinking songs, huh?
You are.
Now you can throw bananas in there.
Right. Was that bananas
Yeah,
and blow?
banana song, yeah.
Uh-huh.
God dang, that's good.
That's
You know, I'm not
Akatosh?
sharing this one with you. Sorry, pal. No, here you go. That's the, now this one is the Akatosh single malt scotch.
Yeah.
Unpeated, triple wood, finished.
Untreated.
Peated.
How much is this
There's
bottle?
no peat.
There's no peat or
Unpeated,
anything.
yeah.
That was in between 80. I think it was 85 or 90.
Yeah. Akatosh Bagash. And it's a single malt scotch whiskey.
This was a super fast purchase because I brought her in the liquor store with me. She's like, I don't know, just pick one. So this is the I wanted, there was 3 Akantashins. I wanted all 3 because
Yeah.
I like them as a scotch to have at my house.
Ah, that's good.
Also, this one would be pretty good in if you wanted to do like a Scotch Manhattan. That would
Right.
it would be good with that one just because it's not heavy on the barley. But the higher the proof, the better the component for classic whiskey cocktails.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if you want to do an old fashioned or Manhattan, definitely go 100
Yeah,
proof.
I'm not much for whiskey cocktails. I don't think I've even had a Manhattan or an old fat. We had an old.
You haven't had a good one.
Yeah.
The only
We had
ones
the
you've ever
old-fashioned.
had were at like Food and Wine
That's what I was gonna say.
or at
Oh,
Bourbon
yeah.
and Bacon.
little
You've
tins.
not had, I think, a properly made one, like a proper old one that's not
And
got anyone's twist on it. And
I mean, yeah, you don't twist the old fashioned.
Don't
Yeah.
twist
It's called old fashioned for,
for
a
a
reason.
reason.
For a reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's old fashioned.
Although you can smoke them, you know,
If you got them.
smoke if you got them, smoke them. I mean, for sure. But yeah, we did a smoked one at the bar I worked at, and it was everybody's favorite.
really,
Yeah,
did you like put the smoke in it?
yeah. So
Smoked
we
it out?
charred a piece of maple wood
Ah.
until it was on fire, and then I would put the fire out with the glass
With the
and let the
glass.
glass sit there. Then I would build the drink and then flip it
Flip it.
over, pour it, and bring it to the glass to the customer while I was smoking.
Ooh, fancy.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
good,
you.
solid $3 more.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
plus a tip.
yeah. Plus, you just got the theatrics of me like spinning a
Yeah.
blowtorch in my
Yeah.
hand
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah, I like
I
it.
love
every now
it.
and then you're like, oh.
Slick. That's the way you do it right
Yeah.
there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was the weirdest tasting I've ever put together.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I think it all worked.
It did.
It did work.
Yeah, when I was putting it together, I kept thinking, this is crazy. This is all going to taste so weird together. And then I sat down and tasted it together with the exception of the Japanese and, started putting my thought process of why I put them in the order that they were in. I was like, man, the ebb and flow is perfect.
Yeah.
It all went together perfectly, ending with the 100 proof.
The
Yeah.
knob.
Good old
and
America.
the French was great where it was placed because it was so much different.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like the dessert
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the whole tasting.
Yeah.
And then you get your good old fashioned.
And I almost
whiskey
just
that you
ended
like,
it
the
there
bourbon.
because it was so weird. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to do after that. It's so weird. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's arguably it is a fantastic whiskey to have in a tasting
Yeah.
because it's just we talked about that one longer than any of them.
Mhm.
It blows your mind because
Yeah.
you don't even, you're like, nah, it's not a whiskey.
It's fascinating.
But it is whiskey.
I know. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I thought it
It's
was
a
very good.
flambe.
I liked that one, and I liked the Japanese one.
Weird.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I
Really?
didn't think I would like the Japanese one, but I really liked it.
Mhm.
I thought it was really good.
I
And I
just
thought
thought
it
it-
was easy to drink.
It's just flat.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, that was my least favorite.
maybe
Yeah, me
that's
too.
why it's easy to drink.
I'm with
But is
Shannon.
is that what you
that was
want
my
in a
No.
whiskey?
No.
Well,
The
I don't
flatness?
want
It is
whiskey at
good, and it's kind of light.
It is. It would be a good
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. So then you don't feel heavy. If you're drinking a lot of it, you're not going to get all heavy.
It would be good as a
Yeah.
highball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That and just some club soda,
Yep.
a little lemon twist.
Yep.
It would hold up well to that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
would
Yeah,
be
it took
good.
some of the bite off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I just that
It
dust
doesn't
flavor.
bite as much as it smells. Like the smell is really potent, but it doesn't bite as much as you expect it to.
I agree.
See, and I
Yeah.
think it that's one of the things I dislike the most when you smell a whiskey and you're like, oh, this is going to be good.
and
like
then
that.
it's a
And then it's
letdown.
flat as hell. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing to my nose?
Right.
Yeah.
And then
And
Right,
how is
right.
it doing that,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like-
all bait and switch.
Right.
super bait and switch. Like, why do you smell delicious and taste not so delicious?
Delicious, right?
Yeah. Why
Hey,
is that?
What
What?
are you taking mine for?
Well, because you.
Come on, birthday boy.
You're not finishing.
How do you know? I was just going through the tasting.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Thanks for pouring, babe.
You can-
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
You're professional.
Great job.
You're so great.
Now, and what's wonderful is if you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking, I want to do this, you just reach out to Cody.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right?
Do it.
And you will come
Yeah, I
to
like that
their
one. It's definitely
location
way
or,
better
or whatever and do whatever is necessary.
Have
to
whiskey,
make
will
people
travel.
Have and people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And COVID safe, whatever that means.
Yeah,
I know
I've
Your COVID pod.
Yeah.
I washed
Get your
all the
COVID
glasses
pot.
in a very hot dishwasher following this.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always did
Will you
that
tell
before
him to get
COVID.
the door? The boy?
There's some. Oh, I
You
got
got
it.
action.
Yeah.
That's our doorbell.
That's our doorbell. It's going off. Oh, honey. Yeah. Just have Patrick get it. He's running the show.
What effort are we gonna do?
I hate it when he does that. It's like, hey, you got all the buttons. You got all the gadgets over there. You can't walk away, man. That's the best part. Well, this was wonderful.
I'm glad you
Yeah, it
liked
was a
it.
lot of
Oh
fun.
my God.
I was nervous about this one because it was so weird, but it did. It went together pretty smoothly.
I absolutely loved it. And because I saw a documentary on this one too, it's like, oh,
I'm gonna drink some Japanese whiskey.
Oh, it's real, right? It's a real thing happening here. Exactly. And so it was fun. And even the Indian whiskey, I would have had no idea.
And that's honestly like I kind of want to do these more and more. If for nothing else, then taste something that you would never order.
Yeah.
Let me give you something.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Hello. We
Totally
just had some
different
friends
perspective.
show up here at
We have
the
more
end.
guests. Lais is here from Spirit Ways. Hello.
Lais
say hi.
and Jordan. Hi.
Jordan
Wonderful.
is here.
Well, I think it's great, and I think that people should do it. Get educated.
I think people should do it
How
too.
do you feel, Jen? You're a whiskey virgin.
What do you drink? Like, what's your go-to
Rum.
drink?
Rum, yeah.
See, I could find you a whiskey now that I know that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's my
We
secret
should have told her ahead of
superpower.
time.
Did
Yeah.
you see those eyes?
a
That's
Bacardi
challenge
girl.
accepted.
It is.
That's
challenge
right.
accepted.
That's right. She's
That's
like,
like-
bring it on.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there was a couple in the middle there I didn't like, but I actually liked more than I thought I was going to.
Good.
Yeah.
So there was you're absolutely right. There was a They're all different and strange, and well, a couple of them are.
Yeah.
But there's out of 6 whiskeys, you have a lot of variety.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I
a great
try-
job.
And I try to always do that, with the exception of sometimes people are like, yeah, I just want to stay in Tennessee. I'm like, those are all going to taste exactly the
The
same.
same.
They were
You know,
very different.
I can find stuff in Kentucky that's a little bit different. If you give me the United States, I can do it all different. But yeah, I've had a couple where people are like, yeah, we're really interested in Tennessee. I'm like, but I don't know what to do for you.
Right.
Tennessee whiskey all taste the same.
Right.
Because they have a thing called Lincoln County process. They distill very much the same across the board.
Wow.
You should try Angel's Envy Rye.
I've probably had that.
It's aged in Caribbean rum casks.
Oh.
Actually, I think I bought it from.
That's
my
how I
boss.
hooked her on whiskey.
Really?
Yeah, she
What is it? Angel's Envy. What?
Angel's Envy Rye. I would
Interesting.
suggest going to a whiskey bar and tasting it first as a pour,
Sure.
because it's about $100 bottle.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I put some in a flask to have it better winter.
Yeah, she put it in her flask to stay warm.
Yes, that's
Smart.
right. That's
That's
exactly
perfect.
right. And Jen's like, I'm all on board for that.
It can replace my.
We all are.
My purse wine.
It is.
My car
Where's whiskey?
console shooters.
It's really rum
Getting
forward.
Way more kick.
It's run forward. That would be a fun one. That would be fun. So they could even come to you with that and be like, okay, this is what we drink now.
So that's typically the first question I ask is, are you a whiskey drinker? And
Right.
if they say yes, I've done so many bachelor parties where, the best man's throwing it for the groom and he's like, oh yeah, he's been drinking Jameson since college. Like, okay, what do you want? What do you want from
Right.
me? Do you want to do all Irish? No. He just loves Jameson. I'm like, well, I don't just bring you whiskey.
Right.
That's not how this works. So then, after I talk to him, I'm like, well, here's what we can do. I know how Jameson's made. I know the flavor profile. So typically what I'll do, I'll put 4 or 5 together that are in the wheelhouse of Jameson, and then I'll do 1 or 2 that are super different, just to let them, if you've been drinking nothing but JMO,
Right.
you're going to have a really hard time jumping to Knob Creek.
Right.
So what I'll kind of build a progression from the basis of what I know of Jameson, and then get a little weirder and let them try something new. And quite often I've heard people be like, I didn't even know these existed. I didn't know I liked anything
Right.
other than Jameson or other than Jim Beam or other than Jack Daniels, which are the 3 that I hear
Yeah.
predominantly.
Right.
I've
Man,
had
I
it.
can't
Well,
even
like-
drink those
like-
anymore.
Someone, DJ Jess here, says Jack Daniels simply the best. And it's like, well, maybe you should should have Cody come in and let you try some new stuff.
And if somebody says that, I know exactly what they like, a sweeter whiskey. Jack Daniels,
I can't stand it.
Bananas.
the Lincoln County process is in effect taking that whiskey and they filter it through sugar maple charcoal.
Oof.
So it's really sweet.
Yeah.
So the thing that when you tell me that right away, they're gonna like a bourbon that's considered a high wheat or a wheated bourbon, because wheat is sweeter than rye. So that other predominant grain from corn is usually rye. That makes it spicy because it cuts through the sweetness of the corn.
Right.
If you like Jack Daniels, you're probably going to like things like Maker's Mark and Weller and all of these wheated bourbons.
Right.
That's the first place I'm going to go. And then I'm going to pull you out of that a little bit
Right.
and, get outside your wheelhouse. So
Like
Yeah,
the
I mean-
freaking French whiskey.
I call them designer tastings because I design them
You could
specifically
probably
for
pour
each
it over
one.
ice cream.
I was
You
thinking
probably
the same
could.
Or
thing.
like fruit,
I said
Just-
a banana flambe.
No, but not just banana.
Yeah, it's a banana flambe. It tastes like bananas.
was
It
like
tastes
dropped a
like
banana.
blueberries.
Right.
Blueberries,
It does
bananas.
not taste like blueberries.
All right. So did you already talk about how you can get a hold of
No,
you?
not yet.
Let's
You can
do that.
Just find me on Facebook. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody
And
Riggs.
Cody Riggs.
Yeah.
All right, GGS.
Yep, like the cop from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome.
Okay, Cody Riggs, and just send you a personal message.
Yeah, send me a message. Send me anything. I'll.
Now the price will vary because of whatever
So-
whiskeys that they.
That
Yeah.
you're bringing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you got $100 bottles of whiskey sitting in front of us. So
I
of
do.
course-
Yeah, we're probably actually closer to the 400
Yeah.
range right here. So yeah, it's a per head count. Usually if you have a lot of people, I'll give whoever's hosting a deal. So
Yeah.
if as the host you can get me 10 other people, I'll do the host for free.
Yeah.
If you as the host get me 8 other people, I'll throw the host in for $20 a head.
Right.
Right.
Typically it's anywhere from $50 to $80 a head, depending on what we're going to do, how
Right.
long you want it. Do you want, just a 101 kind of intro class to whiskey? Do you want me to get crazy with it? Do you want to do something like this?
Yeah. This is fun.
And with that
Well, yeah.
with that said, times are weird. If you're just dying to have a little get together and want to do it safely, reach out to me and I will make it work. I will find good whiskeys to use and I will
Even
within your
challenge you.
budget.
within your budget. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can make it work for any budget, as long as you're covering my pour and my gas and all that kind of stuff.
That's
I
fair.
really just want to talk about whiskey. I want to do this as much as I can. I want to get out there as much
again,
as I
yeah.
can. And people right now want to have people over at their house and not necessarily go out, so we can make something work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've
Absolutely.
learned again some new stuff, so I'll be buying some of these for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially for sipping and for indulging on.
Yep.
The more bottles you have at your house, the longer they last.
That's right.
You know?
That is our philosophy here
What
at the
the
Swallow
hell?
Nest.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
When you only buy one, you just drink one.
It's gone so fast.
That is exactly right.
I bought this one less than a month ago and told myself this is
Don't
the
drink
one
it.
that's going to last me. Like I had a hard time finding it. Not everybody's getting the 12-year.
Right.
Sucker's almost gone.
Right.
No.
It's also the one that when people come over, I'm like, you got to try this.
You got to
So
try this and
good.
the banana.
I'm going to start mixing the two.
Right.
Ugh. You can't leave here with that
See?
Knob Creek then. If you're gonna mix it with that
You're gonna
banana.
do
I
that
would
to
never
it.
do that.
I would hope not.
I don't even put ice in my whiskey.
Right.
Okay, that's true.
I'm not trying to blend.
No blending.
Never.
That's great.
I don't even like Coke in my whiskey.
Oh, I know.
I just like it. Maybe a little ice, a little water. If I'm gonna take the time to drink the whiskey, I want to
Drink the
taste
whiskey.
the whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
I like
bourbon or whatever.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much, Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'll
Coming
see you.
out
I'll
for my
see you in a
birthday?
year.
Yeah.
No, we'll
No.
do this every 8 months.
No. Yes.
Way sooner than that.
That's so great. Well, I just want to take a moment real quick and say happy birthday, Sean.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Would you like another pour of your
Birthday to
favorite?
Shawty.
I would love
For your
another
birthday?
pour of my favorite.
Happy birthday
Which
to
one are you
you.
picking for your favorite?
1 through 6.
Number
Number
four.
four.
Number four.
Oshkosh bagosh.
This is fantastic. Again, I encourage everyone to reach out to Cody and do a whiskey tasting. You're not doing anything else. So bring the bar to you and get educated.
Do
right?
it. And I bring a pretty
Right.
French lady with me.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you do.
And she's fantastic.
And she pours heavy.
That's
She does. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, though.
Oh, the ride home. You should have seen the look she gave you when you poured me that extra special one. It was worth it for me, baby.
That's right. It's your
Well,
birthday.
thanks for making my birthday podcast very special.
Yes.
Of course.
And you know what's also
Absolutely.
very cool is that Jordan and Lais just showed up.
Yeah.
And it looks like they brought me a birthday dumbbell.
Oh.
I can't. What?
A
I'm just
dumbbell.
guessing.
He's getting buff.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I have a gift.
I know.
It's wrapped in paper.
You love that.
I love paper. I'm like a cat. Get the paper out and I'm all.
That's right. If you would like to be on the Everything Swallow podcast, please reach out to us at everythingswallowpodcast@gmail.com. You can go check out our new website,
Yeah.
everythingswallowpodcast.com, everythingswallow.com. Go on there. We got merch, so you can go on, order a t-shirt, any size, any design you would like.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send Sean a happy birthday gift,
Wrap it in paper.
go ahead. Yeah, that's right. Wrap it in paper and bring it on over.
Exactly. And I'll try and guess what's in there.
That's right.
Cody, thank you so much
Of course.
for coming. And Pascal,
Yeah.
thank you so much
Just like the cookie.
for pouring our wonderful drinks this evening.
That's good.
All right.
Love it.
Make sure and hit up Cody and have a whiskey tasting in your own home.
That's right. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
That's
Bye.
right. Goodbye.
low rider is a little higher. Low rider drives a little slower. Low rider is a real goer. Hey. Low rider knows every street, yeah. Low rider is a one to meet, yeah. Low rider don't use no gas now. Low rider don't drive too fast. Take a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip and see. Take a little trip, take a little trip, take a little trip with me.